Hey everyone, Lei here, and I want to tell you about someone who should be terrified right now, but isn't. Her name is Sarah. She's a marketing manager at a Fortune 500 company, and last month her employer rolled out an AI system that now handles 80% of her daily tasks in half the time. 80%. While her colleagues are panicking, updating their LinkedIn profiles in private browser windows, Sarah is thriving. So what's her secret? By the end of this episode, you're going to understand not just how to survive the AI revolution, but how to use it to build a career that's practically immune to automation. And it's not about learning to code. It's about cultivating what Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, calls the superpower of the 21st century. Here's what changed for Sarah. Over the past year, while everyone else was coasting, she transformed her approach to work. She stopped doing what was easy and started doing what was cognitively demanding. Instead of churning out generic content that any AI could produce, she now develops complex marketing strategies, conducts deep customer research that requires genuine human insight, and creates innovative campaigns that connect disparate ideas in ways algorithms simply can't. ChatGPT can write basic reports. Automated systems can schedule your meetings. Algorithms can analyze simple data patterns. But AI cannot think deeply. It can't connect seemingly unrelated concepts in novel ways. It can't solve genuinely complex problems that require sustained, focused concentration. These uniquely human capabilities are becoming the new currency of professional success. Look at your LinkedIn feed. It's overflowing with professionals panicking because AI tools can now perform tasks that once defined their expertise. This isn't some distant future scenario. This is happening right now. But here's what 99% of people are missing. This technological disruption creates unprecedented opportunities for those who understand how to leverage their uniquely human capabilities. The key lies in deep work. Cal Newport defines deep work as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. Think of it as the mental equivalent of elite athletic training. It requires your full attention, challenges your capabilities, and produces results that casual effort simply cannot achieve. Let me tell you about Jason Ben. He was working as a financial consultant when he had a terrifying realization. His job was so routine that he could automate most of it with a simple Excel script. If he could automate his work, so could his employer. But instead of accepting this fate, Ben committed to deep work. He spent months in focused study, mastering computer programming, reading 18 books on the topic. After this intensive preparation, he attended Dev Bootcamp, a notoriously difficult 100-hour-a-week crash course. The transformation was remarkable. Ben went from earning $40,000 as an easily replaceable consultant to $100,000 as a skilled developer. When Newport last spoke with him, Ben said, "On good days, I can get in 4 hours of focus before the first meeting, then maybe another 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon. And I do mean focus. No email, no browsing, just programming." Now contrast that with shallow work. These are non-cognitively demanding tasks that we often perform while distracted. Checking email, attending unfocused meetings, scrolling through social media, managing administrative tasks. A McKinsey study found that knowledge workers spend over 60% of their time on electronic communication and internet searching. Nearly 30% is dedicated solely to email. These are precisely the activities that AI handles most effectively. You're literally spending the majority of your day on work that a machine can do better, faster, and cheaper than you. Newport has a simple test. How long would it take to train a smart, recent college graduate with no specialized training in my field to complete this task? If the answer is less than a few months, you're dealing with shallow work that's vulnerable to automation. Think about your typical workday. How much of what you did yesterday would pass this test? So if deep work is so valuable, why isn't everyone doing it? Walk into any modern office and you'll witness what Newport calls the greatest enemy of depth, an environment seemingly designed to fragment your attention. Network tools like email, social media, instant messaging have created this culture of connectivity where being busy has become a proxy for being productive. We've confused motion with progress. Consider the typical knowledge worker's day. You're checking email every 6 minutes, responding to Slack notifications constantly, attending back-to-back meetings, squeezing actual work into the margins. This constant task switching doesn't just reduce productivity, it literally rewires your brain. Neuroscientist Daniel Levitin's research shows that multitasking increases cortisol and adrenaline production, creating a feedback loop of addiction to distraction. But here's the beautiful part. Newport experienced this transformation personally. During his decade as a graduate student and professor, he published 4 books, earned a PhD, wrote numerous peer-reviewed papers, and secured a tenure-track position at Georgetown, and he rarely worked past 6 p.m. His secret wasn't superhuman efficiency, it was strategic depth. 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, of uninterrupted and carefully directed concentration can produce a lot of valuable output. So how do you actually integrate deep work into your professional life? Newport identifies 4 philosophies, but let me focus on the most practical one for most of you, the rhythmic philosophy. This creates consistent, smaller blocks of deep work through the chain method. Brian Chappell, a doctoral candidate with a full-time job and family responsibilities, wakes up at 5 a.m. every weekday to work on his dissertation for 2.5 hours before beginning his regular workday. This approach transforms deep work into a habit rather than an event. Jerry Seinfeld famously used this for comedy writing, marking an X on a calendar for each day he wrote jokes and focusing on not breaking the chain. Now here's something counterintuitive. Boredom is essential for building your deep work capacity. Most people treat boredom as a problem to be immediately solved. Phone comes out, social media opens up, but boredom is critical for developing concentration abilities. The issue is what neuroscientists call attention residue. When you constantly give in to distractions, even briefly checking email during focused work, part of your attention remains stuck on the secondary task. This residue accumulates, progressively weakening your ability to think deeply. Newport recommends a radical solution. Schedule internet use instead of scheduling offline time. Designate specific times for checking email and social media. Outside these scheduled periods, resist the urge to seek stimulation even when feeling bored. Your brain needs to relearn that boredom is okay, that not every idle moment needs to be filled with stimulation. Let's talk about social media. Newport challenges the conventional wisdom that these tools are necessary for professional success. The problem is what he calls the any benefit mindset. If a tool provides any possible advantage, we adopt it. This leads to digital hoarding. The craftsman approach reverses this logic. Does this tool significantly support the most important activities in my professional and personal life? Consider acclaimed authors like Malcolm Gladwell, Michael Lewis, and George Packer. All have consciously avoided Twitter despite working in fields where social media engagement is increasingly expected. Lewis explains, "It's amazing how overly accessible people are. There's a lot of communication in my life that's not enriching, it's impoverishing. Their sales numbers and awards validate this approach. Here's how you apply this. First, identify your main high-level goals in both professional and personal life. Second, list the 2 or 3 most important activities that support each goal. Third, evaluate each tool you currently use. Does it have a substantial positive impact on these crucial activities? If a tool doesn't significantly advance your most important goals, eliminate it. In a world of infinite distractions, the ability to say no becomes as important as the ability to say yes." Now let's get practical about eliminating shallow work. Start with Newport's shallow work test. For each task, ask, how long would it take to train a smart recent college graduate to complete this task? If the answer is less than a few months, you're dealing with shallow work. Then implement fixed schedule productivity. Commit to finishing work by a specific time each day. This forces you to ruthlessly evaluate which activities deserve a place in your constrained schedule. Consider 37 signals. the software company that experimented with a 4-day work week. Founder Jason Fried expected the reduced schedule to hurt productivity. Instead, it forced employees to focus on essential activities while eliminating time-wasting meetings. The result? The company's most productive period in its history. So let me bring this together. The journey from shallow to deep work is about reclaiming your potential in an economy that increasingly rewards cognitive excellence over busy work. Start by conducting an honest audit. How much of your day is spent in deep work versus shallow activities? Most professionals discover they're spending less than 30% of their time on work that truly requires their expertise. Next, choose a depth philosophy and begin experimenting. If your schedule is constrained, start with the rhythmic philosophy. Even 90 minutes of daily deep work can produce remarkable results over time. Schedule your internet use. Eliminate tools that don't support your most important goals. Ruthlessly cut shallow work from your schedule. These aren't radical ideas. They're practical strategies that the most successful people in virtually every field already use. The choice is clear, but not easy. We can continue drifting in the shallows, gradually becoming more replaceable as technology advances. Or we can make the harder choice to cultivate depth, to build our ability to focus, and to produce work that genuinely matters. As Newport concludes, the deep life requires hard work and drastic changes to your habits. For many, there's a comfort in the artificial busyness of rapid email messaging and social media posturing, while the deep life demands that you leave much of that behind. But for those willing to make this commitment, the rewards are transformative. You'll not only become more productive and valuable in your career, you'll discover a life rich with productivity and meaning. In an age where artificial intelligence handles routine cognitive tasks, your ability to think deeply about complex problems becomes your most valuable professional asset. The distracted masses are struggling to keep up with technological change, frantically trying to prove their relevance through busy work. Meanwhile, the focused few are leveraging these same technologies to amplify their deep work and create outsized impact. Which group will you join? If you want to dive even deeper into these concepts, head over to bullishbooks.com. I've got the full article there with all the research, examples, and additional resources. The future belongs to those who can think deeply, work intensely, and create value that no algorithm can replicate. This is Lei, and I'll see you in the next episode. Now go do some deep work.